All right, welcome back to Let's Talk. Today we're gonna be talking about is social media have a negative impact on society? Sebastian?
Uh, let's go with sorry, I went blank for a second. So bullying prevention month. This month. I just want to. I know we're going to talk about this later, but I just want to touch on it because because the thing is like if anything like pops up like how 9/11 came up on one of our podcasts and then now bullying prevention month came up today or this month. So I just want to touch on that and say like you're being bullied. You can always talk to people about it. Never never try to like just keep it to yourself. You always got friends, you got family. Talk to somebody. But so does social media is it like does social media have like an effect on kids nowadays?
The
Because
question
if
is,
it's
hold on. So the question is basically just whether or not social media has a positive or negative impact. Also, you gotta say something about Gavin because this is his first time on here,
oh
and we ain't
yeah.
really introduced him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no.
But nah, yeah. So he's on here. Brandon couldn't make it today, but Gavin's on here, so welcome.
Sir W. All right.
Appreciate it.
Now, it does like to sum up the question, it does because nowadays like people bullying doesn't happen. I'm going back to bullying again because this is one of the major things with social media. Bullying doesn't happen on like face to face anymore. It's through this. It's through technology. It's through phones. It's through computers. It's through everything. You can literally like you could post something, tweet something, send something to someone, and you don't know, but it probably is bullying. And then people get upset about that. That's why the suicide rate's gone up. Is because our generation has social media. We have like a lot of privileges that we abuse a lot, and that's the problem with like today's society is because we have so many privileges that we abuse, and some kids are like actually killing themselves and being depressed because of what you're saying on online, like negative things. Because like you just got to be careful what you say. You could say something to the wrong person, but social media has is not the best idea, but it's something like a lot of people like to do. But like for like it's shit like people say on social media is so screwed up. Like you know, if you go to Twitter, that app has been just terrible now, and y'all know what I'm talking about. But they ruined Twitter, and then Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and let me go into depth about TikTok. The thing with TikTok is that people go on there and it'll be two-sided on everything, every little thing. Let's say I posted something saying saying something about the Rex Orange County case that just popped up yesterday. If I said he's not guilty until like proven guilty, if I said that, I would have been called a bunch of things. But if I posted and said, "Oh, you know what? I'm never listening to his music again," blah blah blah, there would be two sides. And that's the thing about kids nowadays is they're always one-sided about everything. But yeah, social media is just is I use it because like it's my way of like having fun. Like I'll go on social media and like mess around, fuck around with some people, but it's social media has come ending up having negative impact on a lot of people's lives, and you are wasting your time when you're spending 5 6 hours a day on Snapchat or Instagram or TikTok or something like that, because you're wasting your time doing that. Go hit the gym. Go do something. Stop sitting on your phone playing on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok and stuff. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, Sebastian, you had a lot of good points about how it negatively impacts us, and I agree with a lot of them. But like, I feel like it's a lot worse than just a simple it has a negative impact. It has a majorly negative impact on our lives, and that I feel like it's not talked about enough, or at least not enough people really notice it or know about it. Right? It's a lot bigger issue than it seems, because you gotta realize that nowadays everything is online. We're all connected, right? We're all receiving information from these screens that we don't even know is bad for us half the time, or if it's good for us. And so that's a whole thing within itself. But mainly social media, like it causes a lot of problems where like it causes trends, it can spread misinformation, it can cause people to hop on well, trends. Well, let's talk about trends really quickly. The trends are just they're really bad, right? Just because a group of people think it's cool and then everybody hops on it creates a lot of issues. Like, oh, this whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing, right? That it's the big trend. You do some kind of information about it, it becomes this big thing, and then all the other stuff happens with it, right? Then people are like, oh, I heard this. I heard people saying that what Jeffrey Dahmer did was a good thing, or like he was just a misunderstood person.
What people say that to you?
Nah.
8 people, bro.
I know there's some weird people, but I said that wrong. It's mainly just, oh, he was just a product. Nah, see, now I'm getting messed up.
No, I got you. No, people
Yeah.
people will say like he's like, I don't know, like, you know how in the show people were saying like he had fans in the show because
Yeah.
like they kind of like that kind of shit. But that's like a very small majority of people.
Oh yeah.
But you're always gonna see those people nowadays because I mean he's dead, but still that shit that's freaky.
Yeah,
Dude, 8 people hearts and shit.
yeah, no, it came back to me. Yeah, they were basically saying that he was a good person that like did bad things, right? No, he wasn't. He was a horrible person. He's an absolutely horrible person. Yes, could he have been a good person? Maybe, but he was a product of the environment. But also, that's just the way he was, right? I feel like I'm getting off track though. But with social, it's honestly just bad social media, especially with like a lot of the news that we receive because everybody's so in tune with social media. A lot of things are like a lot of information all over the place, right? You'll hear one person say one thing, one person say the other thing, and it causes a lot of issues with misinformation. And then you got some people won't even see the correct information because it becomes a trend, right? Oh, let's talk about like this thing, right? And it's completely wrong. And then all these big creators hop on it on these like social media apps, and then all these people are just like, oh, let's just follow that. Let's just think that's like the true fact instead of like doing research and stuff. People don't really want to delve into the topic and kind of just receive it, and they're like, okay, that's the truth, and go on. And I got more to say, but I'm kind of all over the place. So I think it's time I
Yeah.
give Gab a chance to talk.
I wanted to add on too real quick is social media you can make hella money now from like if I posted one TikTok and it blew up and then I started like posting more and they keep blowing up, you know how much money I could start making? It's just so easy now. Like how people can make money and then there's actual people out here that are like working hardest for and they still get paid lower than minimum wage. So I just wanted to say that real quick. But yeah, Gavin, let's see what you gotta say, bro.
Okay, yeah, no, for sure. I do agree with you all for the most part that social media is definitely affecting not only us as as we're getting older, but also really our youth. As far as like maybe middle school and down. I know, for example, I was at the park, one time hanging out, and I was playing soccer and everything. These kids, they were reciting lyrics that they heard from a song, and it was very questionable because it was like probably like the rap music that we listen to, and I'm thinking a kid in 6th grade is listening to, again, the type of rap music that we listen to. So it's like, think about that. Already starting off at a young age, being influenced by, that social media, but as well as music. And I feel like that kind of, how they'll have like songs on Instagram, and stuff like that. So they'll hear it from there. But I do think that is, definitely problematic. They go well, they kind of fit. Is how things more and turned over. You know,
Hey, hold up, bro. You are like lagging very hard right now. Like, I don't know what happened, but just out of nowhere.
No.
What the freak? No, and he was talking too. Like, he was going into it. He had a whole story and everything, bro.
No, man. Real quick. I want to blame some of the parents, like in this day and age, because they are letting kids have phones and stuff when they're like 9 years old, 8 years old. I understand, like when you're getting into middle school and you want your child to have a phone in case of anything happens, like let's say school shooter or something like that. I want my kid to text me and be like, "Hey, there's something going on," so I could pull my ass up to the school, and whoever's shooting it up, they're about to get shot. So that's all I gotta say, because parents are letting their kids have phones in elementary school, and that's like what's ruining it, because kids can manipulate, like they can lie to their parents, be like, hey, and some parents don't do phone checks, some parents don't like have like screen time limits and stuff for younger kids. Like you have to have that stuff, especially for like 8th grade and below. You need to have that stuff, like monitor it. But once you get to high school, I mean, you can like limit it and stuff like that. You can like become more lenient with their stuff. But I'm blaming a lot of the parents nowadays, because this new generation of like younger kids growing up, they are like, oh,
He's back.
Gavin, you good, bro?
Yeah, I use my phone. I'm on my laptop now, but I don't know what was going on with my phone. But no, like I was saying, I guess what part did I drop off?
You was talking about how you was at the park. Some kid was reciting lyrics and stuff about
dang,
rap.
Okay. So I was at the park, hanging out and everything, and then I just overheard these kids, reciting again rap music that we probably listen to. You know how that is. So when you have middle schoolers, essentially people with 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, or maybe 6th and 7th grade, they're probably what, or maybe even 14, 13, 15, around like the prime areas of when they're growing up, and they're already getting accustomed to that style of life and how that influences them. And it's like there's more to life than just, gangs and then, kicking and stuff like that. That I'm saying, and I know we're older, so obviously when we listen to it, we understand that, hey, we understand that there's more to life than just that. So we're not as easily influenced as they would be. Another thing is how things can get so misconstrued on social media. I know the whole entire thing with Andrew Tate, that's like a prime example of how people can easily, if you're going against the grain, easily just flip a switch and boom, all of a sudden you're canceled, which then runs into free speech. It's like, at what point can you say, hey, this is a violation of my speech, essentially. And just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean you have to just completely cut me off of every social media platform. But staying on topic, another thing I have was that when it comes to social media and kids using it, a lot of times it falls back on the parents. I know they don't really get or take a lot of accountability, because it's like they say, oh, social media is a bad influence on our kids, and they try to let the government change and try to push them to force things off. Well, it's like, okay, but at the same time, you can easily walk in the room and see what your kid is looking at, and then boom, you're not supposed to be looking at that, confiscate the item, and then boom, it's solved like that. So I don't think that it should be to the point to where you have to stay formula, and if you don't agree with what everybody's saying, then you're automatically swept off. So a lot of times when we're dealing with kids, and when it comes to social media specifically, it's like it's super easy to indoctrinate them in whatever wave society wants to take, and because it's not constant and there's no basic foundation for society, it's like who knows what could happen, so all the more reasons why I feel like parents definitely should take a lot more accountability. I guess another thing also, like I mentioned before, like free speech and everything, when it comes to like the news outlet, I think Sebastian touched on, or somebody said something about the news. As far as news, you have their bias. So if you look at CNN or Fox or MSNBC or the Daily Wire, stuff like that, that's heavily that's heavy bias right there. And I think somebody said something also about research and going into actually looking at it. It's like kids, they don't, I mean, I know because I'm slowly falling a victim to this, but kids, they don't know to do the research. And even for me, I'm not gonna lie, I am getting a little bit lazy when it comes to, reading up on things, or, trying to do stuff. But, so being in school, that kind of keeps me accountable, because anytime I try to cut corners, I realize it doesn't work. So I kind of learned that the hard way. But understanding that, hey, whatever is written, on the internet isn't considered written on stone, so it's like, because they don't understand that concept, it's like, hey, you gotta be like, no, that's not it. And then another thing, I think Sebastian, or it might have been Thad, when you were talking about girls or female, no, it was Sebastian, when you were talking about making money off of Instagram. I mean, yeah, you look at, we take a little girl, for example, if they're on social media and they're like, oh, hey, she's making money, or, they're starting to realize, hey, she's making money doing this, that, and that. And then next thing you know, she's falling in the same exact trend and going on the same path of being an Instagram modeler. So it's like, it's so many different issues and problems that stem simply from social media. And a lot of it is really simple to fix, but I feel like because people want to sit around and point fingers and don't necessarily want to take accountability for their action, they're not fixing it. And so because they're not fixing it, everything gets worse. So
Gavin, when you said people don't like to research on what they see, yeah, that is 100% true, because I wanted to say that, but I wasn't like thinking clearly. I was more thinking about like other stuff. But people will concept things. Like they'll think that they'll see a post about, let's say, yeah. So you remember when Andrew Tate, that video came out with him and his girlfriend? They were doing something,
yeah,
and then nobody knew the context of what was happening, and then the context came out. Even the girl said it was foreplay, it was their little their kink that they were doing. And then everyone thought, oh, he's abusing women, he's a sex trafficker, blah 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 blah.
right.
They don't do their research. They see one little thing on the internet and they think, oh, this is 100% true, I'm not going to believe anything else. This since I saw this first, this is what I think is right. See, you can't think it's right when you know for sure it's not true. But Chris, you haven't been able to say anything, bro.
Indeed. Indeed. Nah, but I got a lot to say. So here's the thing. It sounds like as a collective, y'all think like social media is like a negative thing, right?
Yes.
All right. So where do you get most of your news from?
I have the app called, hold on. I have a CNN app.
That's not what I mean. Like most of the information you get, where do you get it from?
TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even find out about the Rex Orange County thing until I saw it on my For You page feed.
So that's the thing. I feel like as a whole, social media, it has its pros and its cons, right? I feel like its pros is that it helps get out information more quickly. More people are more likely to look at TikTok than they are to look at CNN or Wavy 10 or anything like that. One is more entertaining. The other's more, in depth and, talks about more political or, actually important information. But some stuff that's important to smaller groups of people, like the Rex Orange County thing, they would never, I'm just going to keep it a buck, probably would not be on the news because it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? So that those types of information, yes, like that types of information is going to be, primarily found on social media. And like, heck, even what we're doing right now, right? Going straight to YouTube. You know what I mean? So this is how I feel like social media helps get our opinions out there. But I feel like most of the cons you guys have put out there, right? Like someone was talking about bullying earlier, right? I mean, sure, we still do it on social media, but that would happen regardless. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's more of a, I can't really say this word, more of a coward's way out to bully somebody than just do it online. But when I was in English class once, I think there was some girl, right? Yeah, that knows what I'm talking about. She said somebody messaged her and told her best friend had recently just died. And she was wondering where her friend was at, right? And I was like, yeah, I got the message through Instagram and all that. She goes, that's why I feel like social media is bad. What? It's just information. Whether you take it as positive or negative, that's up to you. You know what I mean? So obviously that was her best friend. And that's a shame. Like I'm sorry that happened, right? But she found out through social media first, faster than she would have any other place. Because either her parents didn't know, she didn't know, or it just happened. You know what I mean? But the fact that she got that information through social media first before anything else, I think says a lot about us as a society because it's just so easy to say this stuff. I can shoot you a text. Heck, when Gavin disconnected a couple seconds ago, right? I shot him a text. First thing I said was like, yo, what happened? And he rejoined on his laptop. But that would be way easier than just, if he disconnected, I'll go walk to his house. Because I'm pretty sure we live in the same neighborhood still, right? So, like, it would be way easier for me to just shoot a text and to go walk to his house, ask him what happened, come back home, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I feel like one of the biggest negatives is it does kind of mess with people's perceptions of reality. Like Instagram models, right? They be getting all this kinds of plastic surgery, and some now granted, some admit it, so they're not setting like a false beauty standard, but there are a lot who get plastic surgery, get butt lifts, boob jobs, all that stuff, right? And they'll go on, social media said, I'm all natural. So then now the girls at home who don't have that are looking at like that and be like, dang, I don't have what she has. Why am I not gifted? Why am I not blessed? Why don't I have this? Yada, yada, yada. When it's a false beauty standard. So I feel like it's like that for a lot of things. There's a lot of lifestyles that seem to be pleasing on the outside, but could really just be making you rot in the inside. You know what I mean? But you will never know that because all they present on social media is the positives of said fake lifestyle. You know what I mean? So no, I feel like, hey, on Instagram, you would never post bad pictures of yourself unless you're just trying to be funny. But like, in case you were being like dead serious, you would never post bad pictures of yourself. You would post all the good pictures, the ones that took a whole bunch of editing, whole lot of time to create, because that's how you want people to perceive you as. And it's so easy to have people perceive you in a better way on social media than it is in real life. That's why they have the term catfish. You'll see somebody on social media, oh, she fine. Oh, he handsome. Yada, 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 right? See him in school, they look terrible. You know what I mean? So no, I feel like it has its pros and its cons. But as a whole, I feel like it's positive because it helps spread information, especially in this day and age. Stuff like COVID, right? How long would that have taken if we didn't have social media? The quarantine, that would have been way different. You know what I mean? It'd probably be worse because everybody will be at home doing nothing because if they didn't have social media, shoot, what would they be doing? Well, playing video games, right? But they wouldn't be getting none of that special, more minor news. You know what I mean? So nah, I feel like it's a mixed case. It's not really a simple answer. But as a whole, I personally think it's more of a positive thing. Sebastian, you've been waiting to go for a minute, so I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah, y'all aren't gonna understand the context of this question. I'm just gonna ask each of y'all, but I'll explain it after. Um, regardless if you had to pay or not, Gavin, would you rather have your child go to public or private school? If you had the choice, you didn't have to pay or anything.
Hmm. I did mostly think private school. But even within private school, they still have their own issues. But I would say it's definitely better than public school. Because as far as like the curriculum, it's way more strict and a little bit advanced. So when your child is going through their developing age, they're learning at a more, strict, specific way versus when you go to public school, everybody's kind of all over the place. People don't check their kids. So it's like influence on other influence. So yeah.
Chris, y'all just gotta
Um,
give me so I can explain it because we don't got a lot of time.
You said regardless of money,
Regardless of money, public or private.
I say public because it's more social interaction. Not everybody can afford private, so
Gotcha.
put that out there.
Thad?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't really thought about this question much. It was a good question. I would have to say public. Same reason as Chris. Like just a more social environment. I feel like if you're gonna send your kid to like private school, they're like focused on academics. Like they have like a future in mind, or you have like a set future for them, which is kind of horrible in its own right. But I've also heard negative things about private school from a friend of mine who went to private school, and there's obviously probably some good things, but just send them to public school. Like I don't think I'm turning out that bad, so might as well.
Yeah. So the reason I asked that is because the difference between public and private school, my little cousin goes to private school. Guess how many people are in his fourth grade class? 9. 9 kids. The difference between private and public school, kids that go to private school are, like y'all said, less interactive, less blah blah blah. But kids that go to public school, I gotta wrap it up. Kids that go to public school build character. They understand, like they're already going through experiences that they're gonna have in real life because of public school. Because I know most of us in public school, we've like seen some stuff that we would for sure see when we're older and stuff like that. So, public school builds character, private school. If I had the option, I would never send my kid to private school because I want my kid to grow up just like me because I feel like I'm growing up all right. So I feel like public school would be the wave. But yeah.
All right, look, hopefully I can say this before the thing ran out. But look, this was fun. Gavin, love to see you again.